All right, let's move out east now and go to Penn State. Their win total is set at 10 plus 500 to win the Big Ten, minus 167 to make the college football playoff. They have 25 to 1 odds to win it all. Penn State has been really solid under James Franklin, but don't have a lot of success in these big games, especially against the Big Ten opponents. Is this Penn State's year to make some noise?
I think it could be, and this isn't really breaking news to anyone, but if you just kind of look at the landscape of college football, where we're going pretty much all conferences without divisions, and then you're expanding to a 12-team playoff, this really both those things really are in favor of Penn State because in the Big Ten East they were always kind of behind Michigan and Ohio State for the most part, where they weren't going to be able to consistently get ahead of them in the standings and have an opportunity to win the Big Ten. And then in terms of the playoff, because they, can't win or they weren't able to win the Big Ten, they weren't able to get in a 14 playoff. But as a 10-2 Big Ten team, that's going to get in the playoff every year in the 12-team format. I am interested to see how they do, just kind of in general, with a lot of changes within the coaching staff, and they have a new offensive mind, and it's Andy Kolodnicki, and kind of talked about in the Kansas preview that we did how I was down on Kansas because he left Kansas for Penn State. So I think he's going to do a really good job getting the most of this Penn State offense because he did it at Kansas with much worse talent. He has a quarterback in Drew Aller who definitely has struggled a bit, I'd say, last season, especially in some of the bigger moments, bigger games. He maybe put some good counting stats up, but against Ohio State and Michigan, it wasn't very pretty for him in terms of just the eye test and even the stats in those games. And Aller was a highly touted recruit out of high school. So there's still something to work with there and some weapons on their offense. And let's see if Kolodnicki can get the most out of that. And then defensively, Manny Diaz was their defensive coordinator. He moves over to the head coach at Duke. And then they bring in Tom Allen, who was at Indiana as the head coach the last I'm not sure exactly how many seasons, but it was before 2020 when he did wonders in Bloomington, a program that had no success in the past. And Tom Allen did some good things there, and then it kind of fell off. But one thing Tom Allen always did well was develop defensive players. So I think this is a kind of a good fit for him where he's going to be able to coach up some much better talent than what he saw at Indiana. For me, Penn State, team with a high floor. I think they're going to be a playoff contender. Let's see if Aller could take that next step to maybe get him into the Big Ten title picture and maybe national title contender picture. But I need to wait to see it. I am really looking forward to their opening game, though. It's an early kickoff in Morgantown against West Virginia. Penn State about a 10-point
Yeah.
favorite. I think that's going to show us a lot about if this offense has improved enough to maybe reach their ceiling of what they're hoping for, or if it's going to kind of be the same old James Franklin team where they win 9 or 10 games and just kind of go out in the first round of the playoff.